Tonight, Senator John Cowdery joins 8 other indicted state leaders as the feds rope the longtime sitting Anchorage senator into a wide sweeping corruption probe.
Mr. Cowdery was indicted but not arrested today on conspiracy and bribery charges. CBS 11's Matthew Simon has been following this from the very beginning. He joins us live tonight in the newsroom with the very latest. Matthew?
Dave and Laura, as of tonight, there is no sign of John Cowdery in Juneau hallways, and his Juneau and Anchorage offices are reportedly locked up tight. To get to the point where we're at tonight, we'll revisit history. At the time, Bill Allen and Rick Smith were heading up the state's top oil field production company, VECO, and were desperate for Governor Murkowski's tax plan to pass.
We need to extend the life of the oil fields.
As Governor Frank Murkowski was pushing a state oil tax rewrite known as the petroleum profits tax, the feds allege longtime Anchorage Senator John Cowdery,
and that I will faithfully discharge my duties as state senator,
was also pushing for that tax plan illegally. Along with VECO's Bill Allen and Rick Smith, the indictment alleges the trio were desperate to pass Murkowski's PPT so VECO can make huge profits. That plan called for a 20% tax rate in return for a 20% benefit rate going to oil companies. The trio was allegedly focused on Senate votes.
Is that what I'm hearing you say?
The feds say Cowdery went after a senator referred to as Senator A. It appears that's known Senator Donnie Olson. In the documents, Cowdery and Smith discuss lawmakers' PPT positions, saying they need a state finance committee member. At the time, Olson was one of those members. Later, the documents explain about bribing State Senator A by buying him fuel for his plane. According to federal aviation documents, Olson is the only state finance committee member registered.
Clearly, VECO would have had a lot easier time getting what they wanted if I hadn't have been in the legislature.
At the time, Olson was running against then Lieutenant Governor candidate Ethan Berkowitz, a longtime VECO and PPT critic. It's alleged Olson's campaign was in financial trouble, and in the indictment, prosecutors cite a phone conversation where Cowdery tells Allen Olson will take VECO money in return for Olson's PPT votes. Cowdery to Olson says, well, I could probably get some money, but we got to get commitment that you're going to vote for the PPT and the gas contract. Cowdery then tells Allen Olson said he had no problem with that. Later, it's alleged Olson took $25,000 bribe dollars.
It's not a surprise that VECO wanted me out of the race.
2 years later, Berkowitz says it appears to him the alleged bribe money may have been to remove him from the election.
I'd been a vigorous opponent of the bad Murkowski deal with the oil companies and on a gas line. So VECO knew where I stood. They knew I wasn't going to move. They knew I was standing solid for the public interest.
Allen and Smith have pled guilty and continue to cooperate with authorities. Meantime, Cowdery will have his first day in court August the 11th. Tonight, his lawyer, Kevin Fitzgerald, issued a statement saying the basis of the government's 2 charges appeared to be made at a public restaurant between Bill Allen and Senator Olson. Fitzgerald says Cowdery was present, but he, quote, made more comments about ham being served than he did about the discussion between Allen and Olson. The lawyer says the government's indictment, quote, seriously misinterprets the few comments Cowdery made and highlights what he calls the problems of the feds taking snippets out of context in these situations. In the end, Fitzgerald says the government is doing a substantial disservice and says the senator's name will be cleared. Live tonight in the newsroom, Matthew Simon, CBS 11 News.
All right, thank you, Matt. After receiving the news today, Governor Sarah Palin has called for Senator Cowdery to step down. In a statement, she was said, quote, disturbed to learn Cowdery has been indicted. In a statement, the governor went on to say, we are on the right path. I am confident the path will be made more clear and obstacle-free as justice prevails in this ongoing FBI investigation. Like many Alaskans, I look forward to closure on this disturbing chapter in our state's history.
John Cowdery is a longtime Alaskan and one of the state's longest-running legislators. He has worked in both the House and Senate during his 14 years as a state lawmaker.
The 78-year-old is also the oldest sitting legislator. He has been in ailing health in recent years, prompting to actually miss the first part of the most recent regular session. Now, Cowdery lists his occupation as a construction worker and contractor, and he resides in Midtown Anchorage with his wife.
And out of the 6 lawmakers whose offices were originally searched, former Senate President Ben Stevens and current Senator Donnie Olson are the 2 left who have not been indicted.
So with another indictment in our state's corruption probe, what does this mean for your view of our state lawmakers?
Log on to our website right now and tell us if you think Senator John Cowdery should resign immediately. Go to KTVA.com to give us your opinion.